The mention in a US Pentagon report of a large Chinese village in Arunachal Pradesh that's resulted in a major political battle. What we are planning to do on this program is actually try and understand the significance of this from a national security standpoint. And in order to do that, because there is a political angle to this, which we'll get to later on, but first the significance of this from a national security standpoint, I'm joined by one of India's finest soldier thinkers, Lieutenant General D.S. Hooda. Thanks very much, General, for being with us. Now, General Hooda, Article 7 of the 2005 agreement between India and China, it's a bilateral agreement, states very carefully that the interests of settled populations need to be protected until such time as there is an agreement on how this is all going to be fixed. That still stands. By constructing a village now in Arunachal Pradesh, isn't China changing the status quo? Essentially, if you build a village, you populate it, then that becomes your settled population.
So Vishnu, let me just sort of put this in perspective for all your viewers. So the area we're talking about is the area of Longju, which has been under Chinese control since 1959. So it's not as if they've come into a new area and built a village here. So it's a disputed area. The other thing to note is that it's an agreed disputed area between the two countries, which means, yes, both countries accept that here the line of actual control and its alignment is disputed. As you also pointed out, that the 2005 agreement talks about taking the settled population into consideration. Both countries, Vishnu, have been very careful about what they do in disputed areas. And therefore, by building a village here, and subsequently trying to show that, we have a settled population here, I think they're trying to present a sort of a fait accompli to us, saying that this area is settled by us and therefore no longer a disputed area, an area that is under our control. So that, I think, has sort of major implications as far as, a final settlement of the border is concerned.
All right. What sort of message or what does this send in terms of what China may be trying to do by up the ante on disputed territory?
So Vishnu, earlier it isn't as if the Chinese haven't used the civil population earlier to try and stake their claims. So we've had complaints earlier of, I know, for example, practically in Ladakh, of not permitting our graziers to go to their traditional grazing areas. They've also used, they're still using, for example, in Demchok, putting some tents across the LAC and saying, this is not us, this is our, civil population that has gone to its traditional area. But that was, should I say, more nuanced. Now it's sort of, become much more open and much more aggressive. Not only are we seeing this village building in areas of Arunachal Pradesh which are disputed, but also, for example, in disputed Bhutanese territory. So also add to this, Vishnu, the new border law that they've passed. And if you see, one of the provisions of the new border law that they've passed is that the civil population in these areas are going to support the PLA in its activity to strengthen control over the borders. We also have reports of civilians from the Chumbi Valley, which was the scene of the 2017 standoff. About 400 of them have been recruited specifically for the purpose of strengthening border management in that area. So I think they are becoming much more aggressive about this. And if you're asking me the long-term implications, I think positions have hardened. In fact, positions, Vishnu, have hardened on both sides. And so what are the implications of this on what is happening in Ladakh? What could possibly happen further in Arunachal in disputed areas? I think it's a worrisome trend that we need to take care of.
I'm just trying to understand, legally, sir, when you mentioned the word disputed, it's disputed for them, it's not disputed for us. We believe, given our position, that the 1914 agreement and the McMahon line is the de facto border in that area. They disagree. So it's disputed for them. for us, the Chinese are on our territory. We may not have physical possession of that territory, quite evidently we don't. But it's not disputed territory for us, sir. It's our territory. And I have one more point, one more submission. It's not just limited to that area around the village. It actually extends further south as well. It's a dynamic situation where they've gone in further south as well. Hence, it becomes more serious.
So, Vishnu, yes, I agree. We have an LAC as we understand it very clearly, and so therefore, anything that happens south or west of it, we say that the Chinese are in our territory. That point well understood, but I think both sides, to be fair, have accepted that there are certain areas where the LAC alignment is in dispute.
Right.
Both
and it is over here,
accepted.
yes.
It is over here. The point I'm making, Vishnu, is that both countries were quite sensitive to what happens in these areas.
Right.
And understanding these sensitivities, that there would be no construction activity, there would be no additional, constructions or infrastructure development in these areas. If you recall, in 2015, Vishnu, Demchok is one more disputed area, for example. And so we were trying to, construct some water channels, some hot springs in those areas, which the Chinese objected to. So what has happened now is that all these sort of arrangements, understanding between the two sides, seem to have just sort of gone out of the window. And from the Chinese side, we are finding much more sort of aggressiveness, assertiveness to establish control over the areas that they consider their own. I think it also has implications for how our negotiations, for example, in Eastern Ladakh, where they have come into areas that we consider our own, how those negotiations will go forward. And I think personally, and after having seen what happened in the 13th round of talks, we are going to find it much more difficult to arrive at some common ground here.
Yeah. General, I'm just trying to understand what was or what should the role of the army be when the Chinese up the ante and start constructing massively, in these disputed areas. What they did in 2020, they built up this village in 1 year, because we've got pictures from 2019, it wasn't there. 100 home cemented structure in an area which is, there was a landslide there as well apparently, but they still constructed, right? So what does the army do in a situation like that?
So Vishnu, in this area particularly, I know you've said they are building even further south of that village, but their post actually is, further south to where the village is. I think what we need to look at, Vishnu, and I've written about this, is where are the areas where there is a difference in perception about where the LAC lies, and we need to strengthen our capability in those areas. In some areas, I know we are doing it. But what the army needs to do is areas that we consider our own, as you said, for us, these are not disputed areas. That's where our presence and our activity needs to increase now, so that, this whole salami slicing, this whole creeping forward, I mean, that is arrested. And my second point, Vishnu, is, I think we need to accept what is happening and therefore react accordingly. For us to say, this is something that was there in the past, and nothing has changed. The Chinese were there since 1959. I think that idea, that attitude also needs to change, so that we can start taking some real, strong action in these areas.
Now, General, I think this last point of yours is so important. It's almost as if there is a constituency in this country that wants to obfuscate the truth. I mean, I don't see the problem in confronting the truth. Have they built a village? Yes or no? Yes, they have. Is it in areas which we believe are ours? Yes, they have. But the entire obfuscation, the comparison with POK and with the LAC in Ladakh, in Aksai Chin, I find utterly disingenuous, because it's illegal according to a bilateral agreement. Isn't it time that we accept that, look, this has happened and we need to figure it out?
I agree with you, Vishnu. You know, unless we actually confront the problem sort of head on, I mean, where will we find solutions to it? We need to strongly sort of oppose this activity by the Chinese. I told you, I mean, in 2015, the Chinese were even opposing some kind of channel that we were building in Demchok.
What did you do then, General, in Demchok?
So we kept telling them that even there is activity on your side, and that you are constructing on your side, and therefore we are constructing on our side. At one stage, Vishnu, I will tell you, they stopped their construction. They said, okay, we are also not going to do it. The point I'm making is, unless we confront these issues, understand that, this is the problem, and try and sort of honestly deal with it. As you said, if you are going to not accept an issue that raises its head in front of us, then I'm afraid we are only possibly encouraging the Chinese to do more and more in that area.
Yeah. Well, General, thank you very much. It's always wonderful speaking to you. And to sort of try and get your understanding of this situation. It is developing, unfortunately. Thanks very much for being with us.